Well, I think design and football interact in the same way that basically everything interacts with design. Design is everywhere, and therefore, football has design is in football in a very intense manner, as it is in anywhere else, no? In a very specific manner, but it's there, and it's always been there.
For me, football or clubs are now really big brands, and brands have to be or are related with design. So what we have seen these last years, where football just got bigger and bigger, is that design is much more important now for clubs than it was years ago. So now you can see like Football Club Barcelona or Manchester are really big brands that people know. So they care now about design, what before was not so important.
Yeah, it's funny how the city clubs are almost a bigger brand than their own cities. No?
Yeah.
So there's all this fashion about, or there's all this big importance on destination branding lately, but some of that work's already been done in the cases of, for instance, Manchester or Barcelona or Madrid even. How there's the knowledge of how the city is perceived. It's almost like the football clubs have been the communicators of that, of those values, city values, through sports and through the brands of football teams. Well, I think in general, a lot of the stuff that designers consume ends up in the studio mentality of kind of independent studios like ours. So, for instance, if the whole design team is really into pop music or football, for instance, that might end up translating into what we do on a daily basis. There's a really funny lecture by Tony Brook over here a few years ago in which he started relating the way the Dutch play football with the grid system and the relationship between total design and total football. And it was a really funny lecture that made you think about how these things really influence each other, no? And I think, for instance, in the case of the city of Barcelona, I think the way we think design somehow relates to the football mentality of Barcelona. This idea of bringing up youth players and nurturing the talent and making it flourish, I think has some impact in the way design studios think here. Which came first? Obviously, football is the most famous one, but there's a certain mentality of nurturing the talent and making it flourish that is in a lot of the
even we bring
studios.
Great Argentinian designers over
Exactly.
here. Yeah, like Messi,
Yeah.
It's like
Back in the 70s, there were all these Messis coming over from Argentina
yeah.
who
Maradona,
who made a big difference in design here. I think there's a huge mainstream industry around football, and therefore that will mean a lot of designers will end up working for that. I think there's an intermediate place which I think it's starting to grow, and it started maybe in the last 5 years or probably less than that, which is independent views on football culture. So I think that intermediate place will grow. So to put an example, things like what Hey did or what we've done are not with the collaboration of the football club itself or the football clubs itself, but it's just a view of a way of expressing visually what we think about football. then on the other hand, there's sports newspapers, and the club uses a lot of marketing tools, and there's a lot of designers that are actually starting to work for that, and that's interesting enough. But it's more in the mainstream consumption world and design, and I think that gap will grow immensely, and I'm sure a lot of big brands like the big football clubs are going to start putting a lot of putting effort into those independent ventures. Last year I saw this collection of posters that Benfica did, and they were done by some small studio, and it felt like a tribute to kind of classic football, but I think they were done by the club, and that's sort of like I think this is more likely to happen. I mean, I think clubs are going to be more involved in the social aspect of visual languages, and therefore they're more likely to get into ventures in which they might ask someone like, hey, to do a specific thing on Football Club Barcelona, and those things are going to happen more and more.
It's funny how designers normally are huge football or soccer fans. I don't know why it is. It is like that. It's like when we had people here over for lectures, we sometimes take them to a game, a Barcelona game, and that's the best part from the stay here in Barcelona normally. So whether for as going out for dinner or I don't know, it's like a thing that we normally used to do with people who came over here. Just and I don't know why it is. And I think we do these things about soccer because we love soccer, not because
we're thinking strategically or any of that. No.
So we do it for ourselves in a way. And I think this will happen also. What Pablo says, that people will look at that and like it, and this will be at the end. We'll arrive at the clubs and perhaps they will call us, but we are not doing it for that. No. It's like it happened with one of the posters we did that becomes really huge in the mobiles of the Espanyol followers who has it on the mobiles because they took it from our webpage and they now have it also on their mobiles. It's just natural things that happen. And this, I think, is a great part. Is that you're doing it because you like
it.
They
felt represented by it and they started using it naturally.
Yeah.
So this wasn't something
that we thought about. And I think this is a nice thing, or the magic part of doing these things. Just like we like soccer, we like graphic design, we do this, okay.
And it's also the thing for us is that football is a common ground in which we can, we're a team of 15 people and we're all kind of from different backgrounds, different cultures, and football is like this common ground where we can, have fun and have a little bit of time out.
I have to say, here the Museum of Football Club Barcelona is the second most seen after Picasso's one. So that shows that there's a huge interest for that. And we did the exhibition of the Liga posters here in a gallery, and it was full. So there is an interest, obviously.
I mean, I think it probably can't be compared to kind of higher art or kind of, but it's a way into getting into consuming culture and consuming art. I give the example of my daughter. If my daughter doesn't eat chicken, I will start with chicken nuggets, and eventually she will be able to eat a proper piece of chicken. She will understand it and she will appreciate the taste of it. And I think football has the ability, because everybody understands and looks at it and likes it, to, when you mix football and culture, to be the introduction of people who aren't native to consuming art or culture and getting into this world of going to a museum, consuming art, consuming something that they understand, and maybe some bits that they don't understand, and then eventually be ready to consume higher pieces of art or culture. So I don't think it can be compared, but I think it's probably an introduction to it, and in that sense, it has a very big role.